Dad's Hot Cakes Vegan Snack Foods. I'm going to show you how to make polenta casserole. So we're going to start by bringing 6 cups of water to a boil, and this is to make our polenta. And usually I use a half a vegan bouillon cube in this recipe, but I'm just going to use some sea salt. So I'm just going to grind a little bit of sea salt. It's going to be about a teaspoon. And then we're going to slowly add 2 cups of yellow corn grits. And these yellow corn grits are very coarsely ground. So we're going to really slowly stir in the corn. And you want to keep stirring it. The reason you want to add it slowly and keep stirring it is to avoid clumps. If you've ever made grits or gravies or things like that, you know that it can get kind of clumpy. And this stuff seriously is like glue. So you want to avoid gluey chunks of corn grits because it'll be stuck like that forever. So now that all my grits are added, I'm just going to run through here with a whisk a little bit. I'm going to reduce this to a simmer. And we're going to let this simmer for 30 to 45 minutes. The grits pop a lot. Once you start getting closer to the end and it starts getting thicker, it is going to pop. So you want to make sure you have a long-handled spoon so you don't burn yourself. You also want to make sure you stir it regularly. It is kind of high maintenance. Don't go too far away when you're making polenta because it does stick to the bottom of the pan and have a tendency to burn. All right, and now I'm going to add a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. Over here I have 1 yellow onion, and it's not very finely chopped. It's more cut into cubes. If you're making something where you want a little bit smaller, that's fine. Chop it up however you want. That's no problem. So the onion is getting close to being done here. So I'm going to go ahead and add my garlic. And I'm going to add 3 cloves minced garlic. Stir that in. So I think that I'm going to go ahead and add the crushed tomatoes. This is 1 28-ounce can organic crushed tomatoes. You're going to use about 1/4 cup tomato paste. So I'm going to use a whisk to combine the tomato paste with the crushed tomatoes and the onions. We're going to put in a little bit more oil. We'll put in another tablespoon. And then I have some sea salt, oregano, parsley, and black pepper. Just some simple. I believe there's about 1/4 teaspoon of thyme in here as well. Now I'm going to add the agave nectar. I use about 2 tablespoons of agave nectar, and I use the amber organic agave. I use the amber because it's the least processed. That's the main basis of this sauce. We're going to let this simmer for 10 minutes, and then we're going to add some fresh vegetables. Okay, so I mentioned earlier that it's good to have water on hand in case you need to add a little bit to your sauce, and I do need to add a little bit to mine, I think. So I'm going to just pour in a little bit of water. We're going to see how that does. Okay, so it's time to add the vegetables to our marinara sauce. I've got our summer squash here, zucchini and yellow squash, 2 of my favorite vegetables. In a recipe like this where you do want something that has that more salty, buttery taste, go with Earth Balance. This is 3 tablespoons Earth Balance as well. And there are some other all-natural vegan margarines out there. That's just the kind that I always use. It's, in my opinion, it's the best. So I did make some earlier, and I greased a 9x13 casserole dish, and then I pressed my polenta down in it, and I let it cool at room temperature for a half an hour, and then I covered it with saran wrap, and I put it in my refrigerator. So it's all ready. You just want to make sure that you pull it out when you start to make your sauce and stuff so that it does come back to room temperature. You don't want to put it in the oven when it's cold. I'm going to add a little bit more water to help speed up the cooking of these vegetables here. And then in a couple minutes, we're going to add some fresh tomatoes, and we're going to pour this over our casserole. I just preheated my oven to 375 degrees, and now I'm going to put some tofu ricotta on top of the polenta. This is one of my very favorite go-to dishes. It has so many different uses, and there is a video that you can look up to how to make this. It takes about 10 minutes. We're gonna add 3 diced tomatoes now, fresh ones. So you don't have to do that. I just do for a little extra something, and you can see now this is like a lot of sauce. So I'm gonna pour my sauce over. This looks starting to look pretty good, if I do say so myself. I'm gonna add the rest of this tofu ricotta to the top. Now I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit of the nutritional yeast and cornflake breadcrumbs. So here is our unbaked casserole, and we're gonna put this in the oven for 30 minutes or until it's hot and bubbly at 375. Check it out, polenta casserole. So we're gonna slice this up and serve it with salad and garlic bread.